All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Set and Forget pod. So this is my third time ever doing a podcast with one of my students. Here I got the man Alec. Appreciate you, bro.
Yo, thanks for having me on, man.
For driving down. So Alec kind of stood out in the Discord chat because I think would you get like 2-3 payouts from funding company?
3 payouts now. Yeah.
3 payouts.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I try to be as active as I can within the Discord chat. Like the best that I can. I try to be in there as active. And then one day everybody's just saying like, bro, congrats. And I'm like, bro, what happened, bro? And then this guy's out here like flexing. Yeah, it's like my third payout. I'm like a funding company, bro. So you were telling me before that you originally came here from France, right? Because I want to get like your backstory. Because a lot of people when they see a successful trader like yourself, bro, getting 3 payouts from a funding company, like that shows consistency. Because a lot of people, you got to take into consideration, that means you pass a challenge, you pass a verification, you got to pay out once, twice, and then the third time. There's no bullshitting that. You're obviously doing something right. So before we get into that, I want to know a little bit more about you and then how you kind of came into the trading.
Yeah, I don't know how far back you want to go, but
So talk to me about France, because I've never met
France.
nobody from France.
So I pretty much grew up in France. My dad's French, my mom's American, and I spent the first 15 years of my life over in France. Really cool experience. It's a way different culture. They appreciate kind of the old things, history, and just really rich culture and legacy and all that. And really cool experience because I was able to grow up in France, looking at the U.S., wanting to experience that as well. And then eventually being able to move over here. I was 15. I came over to the U.S. about maybe 3 days before high school started.
Crazy.
Joined the football team the day after I landed. And then when I was here, I just did the whole American experience, but I guess kind of going into this whole aspect of business and stuff, growing up, my dad, he kind of ran his own business. He was in the medical space. And so I grew up with my dad, running his own business, having employees and having that responsibility of their livelihoods and growing his own business and what goes with all that. And that's something that I really wanted to do myself. I don't know if it's a problem with authority or me wanting to do my own thing, but I was just excited about, growing my own, legacy and what I'm able to produce myself. And so kind of growing up, I was always kind of launching my business on the side. So, I had a car washing thing, and then getting into college, I launched my own moving business, and I kind of ran that with my buddies and stuff, kind of to the side, but we ended up growing it pretty well. And then towards the end of college, I started learning a little bit more about, entrepreneurship, passive income, and I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's everybody's starter story right there.
Yeah. So did I. I read the same book.
Yeah. That shit just kind of showed me the possibility about, leveraging your time and your money. And I realized that, a moving business was more of kind of a self-employed gig, not exactly a business. And so I needed to kind of create something that I could, do that I wouldn't be physically putting in time to create income. And so I just kind of dove in further. I got my real estate license, and I kind of started diving into all that. And then I came across a French company that was expanding to the U.S. And they initially came to me because they needed help with leases for their fitness studios. And then I kind of got to talking with them. I'm I really love working out and fitness and all that. And they're also growing their corporation in the U.S., so it really spoke to me about what they were doing and working on. So I ended up kind of joining their team. I was kind of giving them different advice and stuff, so they brought me on, and I eventually kind of moved up in the ranks. And that was my main thing for a while. I was just helping them grow their own business and stuff, and learning a lot about kind of the corporate side of things and recruiting, hiring, and creating systems and processes. And then I guess if you want to get into the trading side of things as well.
How'd you come across trading?
Yeah, so I was pretty much, working that job, and I was launching a couple different businesses while I was doing it. And, I was doing affiliate marketing. I tried wholesaling real estate. What did I do? I did a couple different things.
A bunch of trial and errors.
Really, I had the motivation, but I really didn't find the thing that really kind of inspired me, I guess, and I really had that passion for. And so I was just kind of, diving in further, and I found this entrepreneur that was down here in Miami, Jeff Seckinger, and I just saw his stuff online. He was crushing it, and I kind of dove into his whole program and everything. And he was talking about business funding, what that was, and I was working paycheck to paycheck, just like most people. I think it's like 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck.
I think it's like 68, 78%.
Yeah, it's huge. So I was in the same spot myself. I was like trying to launch my business, but I had this like cap of like capital and resources. And so there's a lot of stuff I wanted to do, but I just didn't really have like what I needed to scale. And so I dove into his stuff, and I went to one of his seminars that were down here in Miami. And it was like a huge room, like probably like 100, 150 people. And I just like sat down and like randomly sat down next to this one guy who like, I never knew before. And we kind of got to talking, and he was like in the Forex space, I thought Forex was like for like bankers and like institutions. Like I traded options before, but like I knew nothing about Forex. And he was telling me about how he got funded and he had like all these accounts, and like he'd been trading for like, about a year, and he was like making a shit ton of money. And I kind of dove into his stuff, and he ended up kind of showing me some of the ropes as well. Like he kind of like introduced me to babypips.com. Yeah.
Babypips is really good. It's probably like one of the best educational platforms.
Yeah, it's free too.
To get, I want to say like the beginning, like any beginners that hit me up, because I don't have a course. All I do is boot camp. Like, bro, like I don't want to remix baby pips, honestly. Bro, just go to baby pips. You're going to learn the basics,
all written
the
out,
foundations. And then like that's gonna teach you how to it's gonna teach you what a car is, like every point of the car.
Yeah.
But then you kind of need like a mentor to teach you how to drive.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good example. Yeah.
But go ahead, continue. Go ahead.
I mean, pretty much, I went through that whole program, learning about like the basics, really about like, even what the charts are. I was trading options more about like probably feeling out anything, and learn more about like, chart patterns and candlesticks, what they are, kind of like the bare basics. And then we kind of started diving a little bit deeper into like actually how to trade. And so he was more of a swing trader himself, but I was just kind of starting off, man. I was like hungry, and so I wanted to get this shit like moving, I guess. And so I ended up, taking his advice, but like kind of going more the scalping route. And so I tried like really just trial and error, and every bit of salary I was like making, I was just putting it back into into my trading and stuff like that. And then I was doing that for a while, and then I ended up like kind of going after the business funding route, getting more funding, more capital. And then at the same time, I was using that to do more prop firms. I was starting to dive into YouTube, and the crazy thing was that, I started realizing I was like wasting a lot of money just trying these challenges and, trying to figure it out. And I decided like to really take it serious and like start actually educating myself and diving into YouTube videos and stuff like that. And it might have been like 10 days after, I started diving into YouTube. I actually came across your page. You're probably like the second or third person I found for Forex on YouTube. And like 10 days after I started like actually wanted to educate myself, like you started talking about your mentorship. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of wild to me. It felt like, almost like meant to be. And so I dove into your mentorship, and man, that shit like just opened my eyes, honestly. I really wasn't like going about it with like a real strategy, I guess. I was kind of like same thing, just doing it off of feeling. And you actually started showing us more about like, the structure of the market and the entries, being patient. I think that was really the main thing for me, is being patient, waiting for the trades to come to you instead of forcing it. And now, it's definitely different. Pretty much living off of my Forex earnings now. And
that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
So, I mean, taking it back a little bit. So you said that originally you had a bunch of different businesses that you tried and kind of like failed, right? Like, I mean, not failed, but it just kind of wasn't what you expected it to be.
Right.
So the moving didn't go down. The other company you were working with, the French company, didn't go down. So then you weren't profitable before the boot camp. Like you were kind of like just like getting to it. Then you got the boot camp, and then you became profitable.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, I was just like wasting money, like trying to pass these challenges. And a lot of the time I was trying to force it too. I started trading gold, and one of my buddies, he was trading gold, and he seemed like somewhat successful, but I kind of, again, like tried getting like forceful for it. And I'd be like driving and trading like 30 lots on gold, trying to pass the challenge, like stupid shit. Yeah. And then, I came across your program and actually like learned about, I guess, how to really treat this like a business, kind of how you talk about.
All right, so that is Alec, my top student from my last 30-day boot camp that I did 2 months ago. He's received over $50,000 in payouts
from funding companies, and I'm going to be doing my last boot camp of this year on September 7th. But this boot camp is very different because I'm going to personally be funding one trader that joins this next boot camp, $10,000, or two traders, $5,000 each, so you guys can trade and make money back. This is my form of giving back to those students that don't only invest in me, but invest in themselves. So if you guys want to join the application list for this last bootcamp that I'm going to be doing on September 7th, make sure to click the link below. And I'm only going to be accepting 20 people, and there's going to be one lucky winner of 10,000 or two winners of $5,000 each, so you guys can go and trade. So make sure to click the link below so you guys join the application list.
How you talk about.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, something that I do like to teach the guys out there. I mean, first of all, what I like doing with the bootcamp is since it's live. Like it's literally like live, 30 days, like you can't really fake the education at that point.
Sure.
Because I'm literally teaching you. And like, remember when we first started, I'm like, bro, in these next 30 days, price is going to go from here to here. And then you see it play out through the whole 30 days. So like that to me is like the ultimate like flex. You know what I mean? Like profits are cool, but like if you could predict something's going to go from here to here in a certain amount of time, that to me is like the ultimate knowledge when it comes to trading. But I feel like a lot of people also kind of like how you were saying, they just want to like pass these challenges too fast. They want to get funded too fast. And like we were doing a reel earlier for Level Up. And then like one of the reels was basically setting realistic expectations. Like if all you have for your knowledge is just baby pips and all you have is like a couple YouTube videos, like don't expect to make all of these profits. Don't expect to pass any challenges. Don't expect to have any real results without any real education or real foundation. So I mean, like other than that, like other than the bootcamp, what was something that like set aside your trading completely, other than the education?
I mean, honestly, being able to talk to you directly about, what I thought about the markets, being able to look at it together, I thought that was really interesting because, sometimes if you want to go about it, like maybe YouTube and see how it's supposed to look, but then maybe you're just going about it completely differently. And I feel like sometimes when we're looking at the structure and the risk management side of things, at first, I wasn't even really probably going in the right direction. Then being able to talk to you, that was huge.
Yeah. So what was like one of the biggest mistakes you were making other than like was it risk management or was it like patience?
Risk management, 100%.
Yeah. It's so overlooked. It's like something so simple.
Like you showed us the the FX book calculator. That itself changed my life, bro. Like that's it. That website.
Yeah.
And because now I'll look at my charts and actually plug in my TP and my stop loss. And I'll actually plug in how much money I'm risking. Whereas before, it looks like I'm making enough money right now, or it's starting to hurt. Maybe I should pull out. And that's literally how I was trading before. But now actually being able to structure my trading and plan it out beforehand, that was huge. That was huge.
And then what are your payouts? Because I know you have some payouts. Like what are like
What are
your payouts?
My first payout was insane, bro. I mean, I passed my challenge. I got the login on like a Wednesday or something. I put in like 2 trades like the very next day, and they both hit, and the payout was like 15K.
Fire.
I got I literally got the credentials, and within 24 hours I made 15K.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did you continue to trade or you just stopped trading?
Stopped.
So you stopped.
I knew I've psychologically needed like that first payout to know I could do this.
That's crazy that you could handle your emotions like that. Because a lot of people, they'll see 15K and they'll be like, I want 25. I want 30. So the fact that you would be able to control yourself and hold back to not take a trade.
I stopped. I wanted that first payout to know this is possible. Like
what was your second payout?
11K. Then the last one was like 8K.
Yeah. Okay, dope.
Yeah.
And then do you have an approach I want to reach this certain amount of target, or it just kind of just happens?
I really I'm trying to shoot for probably 1.5% a week kind of thing. Mostly probably 4% a month. That's kind of my ultimate goal. But as soon as I cross maybe 8K profits, I just kind of pull out. Honestly, I just kind of cash out, and then I just try to start over. Honestly,
because people don't understand what you could do with 4% on. You were saying $400,000 account. You can make some damage, bro.
No, that's awesome. I mean, the whole profit model is what attracted me so much to this is that if you pay $1,200 and you pass, you get access to 200K. I mean, you can't really find this anywhere else, honestly. Yeah.
And then what do you do now, on your free time? What do you do?
Yeah, man, because that's the big thing with your strategy is that you have so much free time. Honestly, I got kind of bored doing this stuff for a while. So now that I'm doing the trading, I'm trying to be diligent with my strategy. I had a lot of free time, and so I wanted to put it to use. I like being productive, honestly. I don't really like just sitting around and just, I'll kick it sometimes, but I like actually like building something and being productive. And so back when I was able to do the whole business funding, and I got access to, over 200K at 0% interest. And so I thought that was a skill that was pretty useful. And so I ended up launching a coaching business that teaches people how to optimize their personal credit, start an LLC, use that to then build credit, and then pursue business funding. And so I help people acquire 0% interest business funding so that they can either launch their business or scale or even invest.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
So basically, trading gave you like a gateway to make like another source of income. That's pretty
for
crazy.
sure. Yeah, I mean, I use all that like, income to then put into marketing, like hire another coach for like learning how to like advertise myself, I guess, and then put into my softwares and all that. So. And
then what would you recommend somebody out there, like kind of you, where you were, let's say like 6 months ago, 7 months ago, like what would you recommend them to do?
I'd say like the biggest thing is just like have a game plan, honestly. Like, when a lot of stuff's just like kind of like hitting sideways, you might feel lost and, just not really sure what to do. For me, like the biggest thing was, I was running the different like businesses and I tried getting these prop firms and all that. And I wasn't really getting the traction that I was looking for. But once I created like an actual game plan of like steps and like how I can actually get to where I want to go, and the first thing I did was actually try to create like a vision, like a plan of, what's the end goal. So, the end goal was I wanted 2 funded accounts and I wanted to have a business that I could actually grow and work on. And so
you're there now, bro. Now what?
Yeah.
So what's next?
Yeah, I mean, next is probably, my goal really is by the end of the year, I want to get $1 million funded. And then my coaching business, I want to grow it to, be like a 7-figure business.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then now that you basically like have your main goals, which would be your trading accounts and then your coaching. Other than that obviously your new goals that you have set, are you are you the type to like buy stuff with your money, or do you like enjoy life? I saw like when you did the testimonial video for me, bro.
Yeah.
I'll pop it up right here, like the testimonial video that he did for me, where you were at the Keys. You were just like living life at the Keys, just like kicking it in the water. So like, are you the type of person to, because like this is something interesting. Like I personally myself, like we haven't really traveled a lot lately, but like we like doing more fun stuff like within the city. I do want to travel maybe starting next year. I still think like I'm young. Like I just want to stay local, like get to know Miami as much as I can. I have a buddy of mine, his name's Sensei, and this guy goes and he travels all of Latin America for like 2 months.
Yeah,
to come back for like a week. So like what kind of lifestyle do you like to do here?
I mean, honestly, I feel like I've hit my like initial goals, but I don't think I'm really where I want to be just yet. So right now I just reinvest everything, honestly, I'm either reinvesting into my business, education, advertising, what it may be, but I do still like to have fun though. So I mean, the main thing for me is I like to travel. I do buy like nice things here and there, but mostly it's like about experiences for me. So, I'm going to Martinique actually.
Where?
It's like in the Caribbean, like the East Coast. You know about it? Yeah, hell yeah.
What is it?
It's like this beautiful island. It's like tropical. It's got like a volcano. It's got a bunch of really nice beaches. And I'm going there for like 2 months. So like that's the kind of stuff that I like to do, just like the experiences and do something different. I like rent a charter boat with my buddies sometimes and stuff like that. But I feel like I want to really hit a point where I'm creating like a lot of passive income first before I can start to buy like toys and stuff like that.
Dope. Yeah. Okay. Talking about your buddies that you hang out with the buddies, what did your buddies or your family like think of you when you were like starting this whole trading, or do they know? Do they not know? Like how did that go down?
To my family, I didn't really talk about it too much when I was starting. My dad, as I mentioned, he was running his own business and stuff, but I guess he still wanted me to be more conservative, I guess, in my approach. So the whole time I was just kind of guided in the direction of just become a banker. They pay well, play it safe, and go that route. But again, I always had this like itch of like wanting to do my own thing, and I just didn't really see myself working like a job my whole life. And so I always went that direction. So when I was like working that corporate job with a fitness company, I ended up just quitting and just taking the leap, because I was making pretty decent money, but I just knew that wasn't really fulfilling me for what I wanted to do, and that wasn't aligned with my goals. And so I ended up just quitting, and then like the next time I went home, which was probably like 6 weeks, maybe 2 months later, I just kind of broke it to them, and they were all just like kind of scratching their head, like, "You sure?" But I ended up doing that. I mean, family-wise, they're really supportive now. They see like what's been happening, and I think they really just wanted it more for the aspect of, protection and being able to know that I'm gonna be like okay and like not be homeless, I guess.
Yeah.
And so that was the main reason I think for that. But now that they know that I can actually live and take care of myself, I think that's been easier for them. But then for the buddies wise, I mean, I have certain buddies that are actually passionate about this entrepreneurial stuff too, and so we've definitely grown closer through like the trial and errors and actually starting to grow stuff now. And I think that's been pretty cool.
Yeah, that's something that's funny that you said about your parents. My parents were, basically think the same thing. When I got Q on the podcast, he said it perfectly. He was like he said, like, I understand parents. Like, as a parent, you don't want your kid to, do something crazy that you have no idea what's the outcome going to be, that you don't want them to, like, fall face plant on the floor. That's why you're going to be conservative and tell them not to do it. But, like, I feel like, as like parents, boys, like I have some boys that have talked to me about some businesses, and I'm like, bro, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
And then it works. And I'm like, bro, like good for you. So I do understand that point. Like with me, I completely like isolated myself from my other friends, and I just focused on myself. So the fact that you did get buddies and like you guys are on the entrepreneurship right now, that is pretty dope.
Yeah, I think your circle is so important. Honestly, it's like the 5 people you surround yourself with, you're usually the average of that. And so nothing against the 9-to-5 lifestyle. If you want to just live a life in which you can actually enjoy the weekends, you can kick back after 5 p.m. or whatever, and you're happy in that life, that's great. But for me, I was trying to build these businesses and take the risk that comes with like entrepreneurship and all that. And so I need to surround myself with people that also have that same mindset, because really, it's most people aren't like this. They're not just wired to want to take these risks and be willing to go to zero if that's what it takes to then go to the next level. And so I think finding that circle is really important.
No, I definitely agree. Like I've had boys that I tried to put on, and bro, it's just not it. Like they're just not.
Yeah.
Like they're just not willing to put in the same hours as I am.
Yeah.
And then they're okay with they're literally okay with where they are.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
They're probably happier than where I am right now with the things that I've achieved. So I do agree with you. I do think it is a mindset thing. And like people like that, I personally think you're never gonna change. That's just who they're gonna be with the way they're gonna be. And like how you said, like I don't downplay them.
Yeah.
Like I don't, like if that's what you want, by all means.
Yeah, if it makes you happy, that's great, honestly. I mean, for me, like what makes me happy is knowing that I'm making this progress. So if I'm like, up working at 10, 11, or even on the weekends, but I'm like coming out with like this new content or this new video or this new idea for my business, like that gets me like really excited, honestly. So that's what drives me forward.
So then you said that you found me on YouTube. Like, how did that go? So I want to get like a live testimony from you right now.
Yeah.
Like, how was the boot camp for you, bro? Because I have another one that I'm gonna do maybe in like 2 weeks. So like, how? This is what was the last time? The last one that I did was like 2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
So like, what was like your honest experience like in the boot camp? This isn't like I'm not paying this guy. Like he's really just like about to say something.
Yeah, no. Honestly, the boot camp is what gave me the structure to be able to actually become like I'd say live on Forex trading. The bootcamp teaches you how to actually approach this as a business, and because Forex, you actually need to be serious with this. It's not some kind of side hustle. If you want it to be, this needs to be something that you're actually focused on if you want to actually make money with. For me, the mentorship allowed me to learn about the different structures of the market, learn about risk tolerance, and the whole psychology. I think psychology is probably maybe one of the biggest factors of trading. And Alex was able to guide us through the different processes involving how the market reacts and moves, and then how to anticipate all that stuff. So I definitely recommend the mentorship. That's what allowed me to stop wasting money on all the different challenges and actually start to make income from this right here.
That's crazy.
So,
Bro, we gotta get you on Level Up, bro. We gotta get you funded on
sure.
Level Up. So we have like our certificate like behind you. They can probably see it. Like we need your name.
I want that big one up top there.
So, I mean, what would you say, like, one piece of advice when it comes to, like, a Forex trader that isn't, like, the struggles, like, just strictly psychology, other than risk management? I know you mentioned risk management earlier, but, like, more, like, technical-wise, like, what was the thing that just shifted it for you in the technical analysis?
I feel like for me, it was just, like, actually having a strategy, honestly. Before, as I mentioned, I was just working more on what looked like the market was doing. Maybe I saw a big engulfing candle, and it looked like it was ready to blow, and then the very next one would just engulf the previous candle and I was screwed. So I would say actually having a structure and sticking to it, because for me, I was trying to scalp, but then maybe I would explore with the swing trading. And, you need to figure out exactly what strategy are you looking to pursue, and then being able to prepare yourself to spend the time that might take that to actually master that strategy as well. Because I think there's probably a lot of ways that you can approach Forex trading and actually be good at it, but it'll take time to actually get to that spot.
So how do you approach it now? Like, what's your approach to the markets? Like, do you get on the mornings? Are you London? Like, how do you come to the markets?
Usually I'll kind of start the day. I'll check out the charts. So I'll start Monday mornings. I'll like erase all my charts and remove everything. And then I'll go back and start to create my trends, I guess. So I'll go to the month, week, day, 4 hour, and I'll draw out exactly what's bullish, bearish. I'll start there. Then I'll start to create the actual levels of interest that I'm looking for. I'll start to draw out the lines, the zones, and then I just start to put in my alerts. And so Monday morning, I've probably looked at, I don't really care. I just kind of look at like 20 different pairs. Then I'm looking at 20 different Forex pairs. And I set up my alerts, and then I just let it go. So then I wait for the trades to actually come to me. And then I'll usually maybe check it in the evenings, in the mornings. But most of the time I'm just kind of, working or hanging out. Then I'll get an alert. Then that lets me know that I actually need to start looking at the charts again, because we were just talking about it earlier. Like, the more I tend to look at the charts, the worse I do, because I start to overthink stuff and I try to force trades. And that's when my trading actually goes down. So if I just set up my alerts and let all the trades come to me, that's when I actually perform the best. So
yeah, and that's funny you say that, because a lot of people see like that I trade like I don't trade like we don't trade 20 pairs. Like we actively watch them.
Yeah.
And then whenever it gets to those areas, we trade them.
Exactly.
But like we're not like all day like looking at, because like I feel like a lot of people, they come to the markets with like the scalper mentality. They come into the markets with like, I need to trade every single day. Because people come into the mentality with a job, like they're working a 9 to 5. So they come to the charts thinking they're gonna work a 9 to 5 in the charts. But like, bro, there's just days where the market's not gonna give you anything.
Yeah.
So they think that it's like, I go work one job. I need one pair and I master this one pair. I'm gonna master this one job. I'm gonna get paid the most because I master this one skill set. That's just not how it is. Like, this is like the strategy that is taught is you trade based off of how many confluence and the highest probability trade.
For sure.
So you just trade. It's the same strategy across all of the pairs. And the fact that you said that you can do that on Mondays and then you just simply get away from the charts, bro, like you have set yourself with a mindset that is like bulletproof. Like the markets are not fucking with you, man. Like you're really like done for it in a good sense, meaning that you're not there on the charts to make those mistakes when they're to be made, because you're simply waiting for them to come to your area of interest.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like trading with the market instead of like almost against it at that point. So waiting for everything to come to me is like actually waiting for the market to kind of do its thing.
Dope.
Yeah.
What's the longest you've held a trade for?
Probably like a week, I guess, maybe 10 days or so. Yeah.
Like, how was that like for you?
I mean, it just feels like waiting forever, I guess. But at the end of the day, it's like if that's what you have to do, like, I'm like ready to do that. Most of my trades probably last, 2-3 days. So yeah, sometimes I'll get lucky and a trade just rips in my direction.
Super fast,
Yeah, but most of the time I'm waiting a couple of days for my trades. Yeah.
And then do you still go through like any like psychological, like emotions, or you just, because you seem like a super like chill guy. You seem like you're just like nonchalant, like.
Yeah, it's probably my advantage, I guess, for this whole thing here.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I'll try to force it, I guess. Maybe if I have a couple of bad trades in a row, I might find myself looking at the charts more and then trying to find like, some trades that might not even be there. And that's definitely happened probably the last 3 months. But then coming back, I try to, if I'm having like a couple bad trades in a row and it's even like Wednesday or Tuesday even maybe, I'll just stop for the week. I'll try to get myself away from it, because I know that if I keep going into this, it's only going to get worse. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have a very mature trading mindset, because like people, like there's people that question me when I say that, and I'm like, bro, like if it's not working, you just don't keep doing it. It shouldn't be a trick question, or it shouldn't have like a second side to, like, bro, if it's not doing good, you just come back next week. So I do find that very interesting.
I like what you said during the mentorship too, in which you were saying how whenever you take a trade, you act as if you have an investor right over your shoulder that's asking you why you're taking this trade. So for me, if I'm taking this trade, I need to know that I have all the trends in my direction, I have the confluences, we're bouncing off a zone and hopefully even the EMA. And that's why I'm taking this, because I have the risk reward that looks good, and I'm not just going in because, you know, it looks fun or something.
Just because you want to feel involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I like, bro, there's just some random analogies in the boot camp that I just think of.
Yeah,
man.
Like, those are
bro,
huge.
Like, these are fire.
That's actually what sticks with you too, is because you have that like connection for it.
Because it's relatable. Like people think that this is Chinese or it's something that you can't relate to. Like it's very similar to a lot of things. Just it's something new and people are not familiar with it. But it has the same characteristics as any other business or as learning any other skill set. People just want to complicate it more because, like, you know, the like how fast you can make a lot of money.
Right.
Did you have like those thoughts everywhere? I'm like, bro, like I need the million today, or like you've just, because like I don't think you're like that. You're like a chill guy.
I mean, I used to kind of be like that, I guess. Like, you know, when I was first starting entrepreneurship, maybe, you know, a couple years ago, and I saw people online. I guess sometimes you just try to compare yourself, I guess, and stuff like that. And I saw all these people making a whole lot of money, and so at first, I think I tried making aggressive moves. I would like invest probably more money than I should have into different investments that were like way riskier, and you know, I lost pretty much everything, like on all of those different investments. And so at that point, I realized that there is a risk reward for everything you do, really, not even just for trading, but like investments, business, decisions, and being able to approach it that way definitely changed things. And I think that, you know, losing out on those investments early on also showed me that you need to be able to approach things with that outlook that, you know, even if it's your buddy that's offering this to you, or, you know, it looks good on paper, like there's really nothing promised in life. You need to be able to really acknowledge that there's a reward there, but there's also a risk involved.
100%.
So, yeah.
No, I feel like you definitely have a different mindset. A lot of people come into this business either needing the money, needing to pay some bills, or just chasing it because like it's there. Like you can really make like 100K in a day. Like, you know, you're seeing Raul right now. He's going crazy.
Nuts.
You saw James, he turned it to like 20K to like 2 mil. Like, yes, that possibility is there. But just because that possibility is there doesn't mean that it's meant for you just yet.
Right.
Or that you could do it just yet. Like, it's possible, but it's not, like you're just not qualified for it.
Right.
Same thing as, let's say, like, you go to the gym and you see somebody else benching, like 500 pounds. Like, that doesn't mean that you could do it. Like, are you taking steroids like he is? Or, like, are you doing everything else like he is? Probably not, right? Like, you gotta build up to that. So that's something that, it's a very simple analogy, and, like, people just don't want to look at it like that because it's very accessible. Like, to make money in the markets, it's very, like, you just go deposit some money, click some buttons.
That's why it's so tempting.
Yeah, it's so tempting. Like, it's almost like a game. People try to treat it like a game. Like, if you click the right buttons, then you jackpot. This is not how it works. So, like, I try my best to, you know, try to explain and educate it as a business.
Yeah, I think like trading really is just like everything else in which you need to spend the time to actually learn and master it. Everyone's gone through this process of trying to learn this new skill. And that's what really trading is. It's a skill, and you need to go through that process of actually being able to learn the trials and tribulations that might go through it, spend the time on the education. I mean, just like you mentioned, the guy that's benching maybe 500 pounds, like one day he was maybe benching just the bar, you know, and you actually had to understand how to even grip the thing and go down and do the right motion. So that's what you have to do with trading. You have to actually understand the different structures, how the market moves, being willing to, you know, maybe even risk some money to then acquire that skill set so that maybe one day you can live off of this right here.
Bro, I love it, man. I love it. Bro, I appreciate you, man. I hope you keep getting more payouts. I hope you come over to Level Up and make some money with Level Up.
Sure, bro. I'm excited for it.
Appreciate you, bro. I hope, you know, great success.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.